Welcome to the Chris Ogechi Podcast, the show where we dive deep into business, marketing, and life. Here we have real conversations with industry leaders, creators, and doers who are shaping the future. Whether you're building a brand, growing a business, or simply figuring out life, you'll find insights, stories, and strategies to help you win. Let's get into today's episode.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for joining in, everybody. It's so good to have you. I've had Mobolaji Olorisade Conference, who's a marketing manager and content creator who enjoys carrying out experiments that lead to growth. With over 5 years of cumulative experience working in both the private and non-profit sector, she has a specialized driving and increasing stakeholder engagement. Using words to add feelings, digital/technical products is a superpower, like your strength. Mobolaji Olorisade is the growth marketing manager at Cowywise.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I think the essential thing I would want everybody to know is that, these principles or tips, right, that I am about to share are not just for me, right? It's not just a Mobolaji thing, but that anybody can implement them and actually see results, right? So hopefully you would, listen, engage till the end and not just stop at that, but actually implement it and then see results in your careers.
Well, thanks for that. That's very concise. And yes, he actually has got tons of persons transition to tech, and they are doing amazingly well where they are right now. I hope people shall help. That reached out to me saying, this person, how do you get to know and everything? And it's a celebrity, like known celebrity. But it's so good to have her. Let's have it interview. So that's so good to have her here. It's so amazing to have you more. I'm very grateful. But let's go straight to it. Of which when you're speaking, I was like so you have the entire page and everything. But the first question is, what are the three most valuable lessons you learned in your journey from a blogger to a growth marketing manager? What are the three things you've learned that have stuck with you, that took you from where you were to where you are right now, and likely will keep you on your toes to get to where you want to be?
Awesome. So it's very interesting that today I went to my website. I know that my website needs change and all that, but I went to the blog section of my website and I was reading like some of the blog posts I'd written. Like there was a time I used to write blog posts every day, right? Now I have, reduced a bit. But I was reading those blog posts and I was like, wow, like how did I have the time? How did I think through all of these experiences and share them and all? Right. So I would say I've come a long way really from blogging to content marketer to growth marketing manager. I mean, yeah, so thankful for that. But I would say the first thing that I have learned from I won't say transition, but from like my growth from just blogging to now like managing other aspects of marketing is that the first thing is that my skill is relevant. So I find that a couple of people that maybe they don't know how to code or they don't know how to design or do like all these specific skills in tech that people some people regard as the top things, right? So some people don't have those skills and they feel like I can never be relevant. My skills are not relevant in the tech space. My growth, right, has shown me that my skills are relevant. And I remember that, a few years ago when, I was writing and creating content and all that, it never occurred to me that a time could come where my writing skills would be useful in the tech space, right? So if you're here and you're listening to me and you're saying, oh, I don't have, I mean, if you want to learn how to code, I'm not, against it at all. Or if you want to learn how to design, product design, all that, I'm not against that. But I'm just saying, if you have skills that are not, in that line, do not ever think that those skills are not relevant. So that's number one thing that I have learned, from my growth, that my skills are relevant, right? Second lesson, right, is that I need to continually improve my skills. I need to continually upskill in the tech space. Just because you enter or you transition from one, maybe like a traditional setting or non-profit, right, to tech, right? The skill that got you in is great, it is relevant, it is important, but it is also important for you to understand that that skill, you can't stop there. And the last lesson I have learned is that I need more than my technical skills. So when you hear technical skills now, it's not just like coding. Technical skills are those, like if we sit down and ask you, do you know how to do this thing? And you say yes, you must sit down and actually show us that you know how to do it, right? So my growth has also shown me that beyond my technical skills, I need soft skills. I have to have sense. That's what I have learned. So a lot of people think that, oh, I'm just going to get the job and that's it. If you don't have sense, okay, sorry, I'm not saying you don't
This
have
is
sense, but
major.
you get me. Like work ethics, you have to be smart, you have to know
Mm-hmm.
and understand office politics. There is no see, there
Yeah.
is no company as great as a company is that they don't have office politics. You have to understand what your bosses value, right, and go after those things. So my growth has also taught me that my skill is relevant. I can't stop at that skill. I need to learn other skills. But at number three, soft skills are important. It's so important to have work ethics, to have leadership skills, to be comfortable going out of my comfort zone.
Thank you so much, Mo. Like, we'll go to the next question. How did you get to carry wide?
So I was on my own basically. I didn't have like a 9 to 5. But I started to feel like, because I teach people on career, right? So I knew that it makes sense if you teach people career growth to ensure that you actually are working in a 9 to 5 with people where you are learning, interrelations, all of those things, right? But anyway, so I remember few months before I got my job, I started to strategize about the kind of companies I wanted to work at, the kind of people, the kind of culture, the kind of pay, right, that I wanted. So after doing that, I made like a list of like just a few companies that I, thought that, it would be nice to work here. Right. And it was funny because at the time, I don't think Wise was even on that list. Right. But I just remember creating like a shoot your shot template. So shoot your shot template is like templates of me sort of like introducing myself to somebody that doesn't know me from anywhere, but I have put it in such a way that by the time they finish reading, they are interested in knowing more about me and my skills and how I can help their company. So I reached out to a couple of people. I got some like, feedback, some calls and all that, but nothing really, clicked, right? But I remember that for Wise, what happened was I was on Twitter one day, right? And I saw that one person in Wise, and I knew that the person was working in the marketing team, had left Wise. So she just posted on Twitter and said, my time at Wise, how people do like announcements when they leave a company. So she did that on Twitter. And I was like, if this person has left the marketing team, it appears that there is a space in the
That's
company.
strategic. That's strategic. Hold on.
Right? It appears that there is a space for me. So that's what happened. When I saw that thing, I still remember it was, if I check my email, it was 7 something like PM, or it was in the night. And I saw that tweet and I sat down. I can still remember where I was sitting in my sister's house with my laptop, checking my CV, ensuring that I wrote the right things and it was up to date and all that. And then I sat down, I was like, I need to reach out to somebody in this company. Who can I reach out to? Obviously the CEO, right? One thing I also advise, if you're trying to shoot your shot, if you can get the contact of a decision maker, so maybe the hiring manager, the CEO, it helps. But the funny thing is, I did not have my CEO's email. I sat down and I was guessing. So if you are somebody that is a CarryWise user, you probably get emails from Okwe. So what I did, and I was already using CarryWise at the time, I went to this FBI work that I did, I went to my email and I checked Okwe's email, and I think I'd seen maybe support@carrywise. I can't remember the exact email, but it sort of gave me an idea of how to coin my CEO's name. So for context, some companies they use just first name, right? So it'd be Mobolaji@carrywise.com. Some companies use Mobolaji O at carry, so your first name and the first letter of your surname. Some people use Mobolaji dot your surname. So I was like, which one should I use, right? And thankfully that day, my first guess was what worked, right? So in the email, I just, I went to search for the CEO's name on LinkedIn, our CEO's name on LinkedIn. I saw his first name, his last name. So I wrote the email and I attached my CV. In the email, I was essentially just introducing myself. I've called it shoot your shot so much. I've forgotten what cold emailing. Yeah. So it's actually called cold emailing, but I always say shoot your shots, right? That's what I call it. But yeah, so I said, hi or hello, good evening. My name is Mobolaji. I talked a bit about my skills. I talked about how, carrywise, like I hyped the company a bit and how I could come in and all that. The thing, let me just stop here to say, I found that some people are looking for certain kind of opportunities but they're not willing to put in the work, right? So you are saying you want to work with a certain company, the culture is great, the pay is good, all of that, but you are applying the same way everybody is applying. Why? Right? So me, I just feel that I didn't want to go the same route that everybody was going. So I remember that evening, I think maybe like less than an hour, I got a reply, from our CEO, and it was like, oh, thank you for reaching out. Your CV looks impressive. However, we don't have an opening at the moment. Da da da. Like Ella, this man is giving me Ella. But I knew that me, I had seen somebody on Twitter saying they had left. So you cannot tell me that there is no opening. That one is for you, right? So anyway, he told me that there was no opening. But then, like, I think like 2 weeks after that, he reached out again by email and was like, are you free sometime, I think next week, for an interview? We would like to just get to know you. Apparently, I did not know that, after he had given me a la, he went to check me on social media. That's why, again, your posts and all of those things, they matter because it shows the kind of person you are. So he checked me on LinkedIn, found out I had a blog, so I was reaching out to them that I wanted to be a content creator for carrywise, right? But imagine if he started to do like research on me and never found any content, right? I mean, there are people that say, oh, I don't share stuff publicly. That's fine, but it just makes things easy sometimes. So he reading my blog actually, sort of like stamped it that, okay, this person is actually good at writing and all that. And, we had an interview. The interview too was really good. It was supposed to be an hour. It was 2 hours because it was like a conversation, right? And from there, I joined the team. One year and some months, or a month, I was the content marketer, and then I was promoted January this year to a growth marketing manager role.
This is amazing, right? But yeah, you positioned yourself correctly and you got into carrywise.
Yeah.
That's right. So what should a marketing enthusiast or beginner do in 24 hours to position better for a role in tech?
Okay, so I love that you mentioned that I didn't become who I am, and I'm still growing, right? I'm still improving, I'm still evolving in 24 hours. So I am assuming that this marketing enthusiast is somebody that already has skills. Number one is to join a community. Look out for marketing. I mean, if it's marketing you want to work in tech, if it's not marketing and it is maybe engineering team, whatever team that it is, right? Look out for communities that are in line with that and join them. The second thing that I would say that I've written down here is to show or talk about your work. So again, remember that I've said that this is somebody that already has skills. If you don't have skill, the first step is to have some sort of skill that is relevant and valuable in the tech space. So when you have that and you say, in 24 hours, I just want to see if this thing works. I want to see if you get some sort of attention. You can say, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone and I'll do a Twitter trend. That's another way to get more attention or more opportunities in 24 hours. Look at people in that space that you are interested in. If it's marketing, look at people that are in marketing intent. If it is engineering, if it is product design, right? Go and stalk people in that space and just follow them, because those kinds of people, they share opportunities in the tech space. So those are the three things I would say that can work in 24 hours, but remember, you cannot blow powder, you have to have skill. So yeah, that's it.
She said something, follow Uno road, like that's a major punchline. Like you apply to those you follow, those you listen to, those you call coaches or mentors. You actually apply to all these things. But yeah, she has broken it down into bits, and let's go to the next thing. So now we have so one thing on Mambo is that she also runs Skill Up School, and that's like what she does to make sure people that are having issues coming to tech find it super smooth and easy. Right now, she will have a define for herself to sell and blow at something, because she's very good at something like this. So more, what is Skill Up School? What should we expect? How do we sign up? What should we do? Give us the full gist.
Okay, so this part may be funny. But as the name implies, the skill up school, right? So it's like a virtual school where I teach, things that are or things that would essentially help you to upskill yourself, right? So it can be how to write your CV, how to prepare for interviews, how to write cover letters, what to do when you join a company as a new staff. Those are things that I essentially teach under the skill up school. But it's funny that right now I don't really have anything to sell, right, for the skill up school, because I sort of paused. And I think this is also like a career lesson. Sometimes if you start to see that maybe you don't have the mental bandwidth for like more than one thing, or maybe it's starting to affect the quality of your work, and you have like a brand, like a personal brand where I do of doing only excellent work for people that are paying you, right? Sometimes you might need to pause on that. So that's exactly what I'm doing. But definitely, like, I was still reading through some things, and strategizing on the next steps for the skill up school, the virtual school that helps you to upskill and helps you to just do better in your career.
Thank you for this opportunity. I've been trying to transition from sales role B2B and B2C in brackets into a product marketing job, because I've also been doing a job as a marketer in my current company, despite not having the title. But I haven't been getting any interviews when I apply, except for the times I send code emails and messages to the founders alone. Is this normal? Are there professional courses or product marketing courses to advise I take to improve my chance of getting a job?
So the first thing I would say is ensure that your CV, and if they're asking also for a cover letter, is excellent, right? Because I find that a number of people know how to do the job, like they are good, whatever job application is out there, they fit really well, but they don't know how to, I always say, learn how to sell yourself, right? So before you even get to the interview stage, right, I would say ensure that your CV and your cover letters are good, like not good, excellent. And how do you make sure that happens? First is to highlight achievements. So a couple of people, for example, this person says they have been working in sales. I think I was still checking someone's CV like 2 weeks back, and the person had literally just copied and pasted their job description. So you see how when you get a job at a company, they give you like a list of things to do. That's what the person pasted on their CV as their you know, pasted on their CV as the things that they do. But beyond that, try as much as possible to think through, okay, so I've worked in sales for this amount of years. This and this are sometimes they don't even have to be many. If it's just four things, right, that you can remember that you can highlight as achievements for the company that you worked as a salesperson, highlight those things. As a recruiter, when that person stops and sees it, it's just different from when they see somebody that has made a list of their job description, right? For example, there's a difference between somebody that says maybe the title of the role is social media manager, so they put social media manager XX company from 2020 till date, and under it they write, excuse me, under it they write post, uh, post twice every weekday. Then they write reply DMs, right? Those are good things. But if you compare that kind of CV to somebody that says increase engagement by 100% in 3 months, which one are you going to stop and look at and invite for an interview? If the person, on the right is saying that, what other achievements can you have as a social media manager? Maybe improved, online sales from just one channel of social media, maybe for example Instagram. Those are tangible achievements. So I would ask this person, or I would advise the person, right, to ensure that they are highlighting achievements and not just like job description on their CV and on their cover letter. And the next thing I've said here is to look for applications and tailor your CV towards specific applications. Another mistake I find that people make, and because of that they are not called for interviews, is that you have one CV, almighty CV, and that is the CV that you use for everything. You can't do that, right? So what will help is that if you see company A, right, is asking for a social media manager, go to that career page, that page that they have put that application on, read through the things that they have asked for, pick out 2 to 3, not all, maybe, yeah, 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 words, right, that they have highlighted that they are looking for, and see how you can, put that into your CV. Be mindful though that you are not lying. So it's not that you get the job finished and you can't do it, but those are things that you actually know how to do, right? So always, have specific CVs, specific cover letters for specific job roles. Never have one CV. So that's another thing I would advise this person. And number two is on their CV, on their cover letter, as well as during the interviews, they had to learn how to merge sales and marketing. So for some companies, if you are just there and you are just talking about certain sales, you are just doing that, the person will be like, is this really the person I want? Because product marketing is not, we don't call it sales, right? It's not really sales. So you have to find a way to, I guess the word is merge the vocabulary, if that makes sense, right? That, product marketers or hirers are looking for, and then use that in your CV, in your cover letter, and during your interview. So yeah, I think that's it. I hope that the person is here, they're listening, and that helps.
Thanks for always doing this. You always come up with one action point, action plan, what to do next. And for me, what took out is don't have a generic CV. So you should be able to tailor it based on what you're applying for. What skills do one need to enter into growth marketing? What skills? Do you have
Okay.
go ahead.
So there are a number of skills, right, that you should have. But I found that for you to, I said that I joined my company as a content marketer, right? And now I'm sort of, I've gone beyond just, even though a lot of marketing is still content, right? But I've moved past, overseeing just content to overseeing a couple of other things, right? So if you want to grow, or transition into growth marketing, the first thing, as I've said earlier, make sure you shall have one skill, right? Because everybody in the growth team as career, for example, we have the email marketing person, we have social media person, we have a video motion graphic person, we have a creative designer. So we have different skills, right? And everybody then comes together and puts out the amazing content that the world sees. So the first thing for you is, what is that? First of all, one, what's that one skill that you know that you do well, that is valuable to a tech company, right? And after that, to now grow to maybe like managerial role and all of that, because growth marketing encompasses a number of things, right? So it will mean that beyond that one skill that you have, you should be able to merge, like learn other things, on the job, merge all of those things.
Thank you so much
And
for this. You're always coming up with something in the book.
Appreciate you for listening in. If this week's episode hit home, share it with a friend or your team. Don't keep the game to yourself. Drop a review, leave a comment, and let me know your biggest takeaway. Follow me at the Chris Ogechi, and as always, keep building, keep creating, and keep dominating.